everyone. I'm Colleen.
And Cindy here.
Thanks for joining us for episode 19 of Conversations from Beyond. Once again, we have a lineup of universal beings of light who are honored to join us to bring messages for you. We'll be following the same format as we have been lately, with Cindy's angels acting as the MCs, and with a visit from our recurring illustrious guest, my guide and half soul, Big Birtha, is going to join us to share a message as well. So I want to do something a little bit different than I've done it before and pose a question now before we even get into the message, if that's okay, Cindy?
Yeah.
So this is because it's been coming a lot in the comments, and it's also related to your last message on your Lady of the Forest channel. So I'm just going to throw it. And sometimes we get an answer because we did that. And sometimes they say, we can't tell you at this time. But we'll see. So I would like to ask if any being of light would like to share with us any update about Pele, about Pele's birth, about Pele's conception, about the flash of light, like anything of the stuff that we received about the coming things that are going to launch the the mass awakening, right? So I just want to throw that in there and see if anybody wants to answer.
We'll see what happens. Yep.
All right. So we don't know what the messages are going to be in advance, except that now we're hoping for an answer to that question. It's always a surprise what the messages are going to be and what we're going to talk about. So I'll pass things over to you, Cindy, so we can get the first part of the message and get started.
Okay, thank you. And I will light my candle to call in my angels and set the energy. And as I do so, as always, I ask you to use your own discernment with these and any messages you receive. Always bring it into your heart space and determine your truth. All right. So I will tilt the camera so you can see a little bit of what's happening with the pendulum. So I have circles. This tells me that my angels are here. They're bringing in their energy. Steady circles here. Lots of energy coming in. This will be a very important episode on this channel. We are going to share information today that will help you to understand the unfolding of events that is about to occur. We are going to give you some additional information that has not been shared as of yet. And we are going to intertwine this information with previous information we have already given. There is a special guest who wishes to talk with you first before we get to that. So the pendulum has gone still. This tells me my angels have stepped aside and someone else is here. This is a being of light who has a special message for you. There is a lot of energy streaming to Earth at this time. And there are many people picking up on these energies. And they are filtering these energies through their own love energy imprint. And this is like how a prism separates the light spectrum that is contained within white light. A prism separates out all the different wavelengths, and they appear as a rainbow. This is a good analogy for what happens when a person receives information. This information is filtered through their own love energy imprint, and it becomes separated out like the colors of the rainbow from white light. So each person is tuning in to their own wavelength of information and sharing this information with others. There is an opportunity to receive this information more wholly than separated out. These are the people who are able to receive this information in its whole form and share this information that way. These people are more rare than the people who are sharing their own color of the information once it is filtered through their own love energy imprint. This information is important to understand. This idea that a person receives the information wholly, and then it gets filtered through their own love energy imprint and comes out as separate colors. This idea is important to understand. People are doing this all the time with every bit of energy they come into contact with. Each person is filtering the energy streaming to Earth through their own love energy imprint. And it is being filtered and separated into different colors through their own love energy imprint. It is impossible to not have this happen. It is also not a form of malice. This is a natural phenomenon that happens. The different colors, so to speak, are all different truths. All of these energies are within the energy that is being streamed to Earth at this time. So, the point of explaining all this is to help you become accustomed to feeling into your own energy and learning to see and feel what is right for you. This is not a judgment of whether something is more right than something else. It is simply honoring what is right for you at this time in your journey. And that will change over time. Something that is right for you now may not be what you are moving towards. And you may see that these energies will be left behind on your journey. This is all a part of your own journey forward. And everyone is on a unique journey. And all these colors of the rainbow are valid and beautiful in their own right. They are all truths to be seen and felt. There is something else I wish to explain. Now that you understand that all these truths are indeed part of the energies being streamed to Earth, you will also understand that you may or may not wish to focus on a particular energy. This is easier to see when you imagine the colors of the rainbow again. The white light is separated into beautiful colors of the rainbow. Now imagine that you are not comfortable with a particular color. This color is just not sitting well with you at this time on your journey. This is not a reflection of the color itself. It is a reflection of your journey at this time. So imagine you are not interested in focusing on this color. You are instead going to focus on a different color that is allowing you to feel more powerful at this time on your journey. You cannot focus on the powerful color by focusing on the color that makes you feel uncomfortable. The color that makes you feel uncomfortable needs to be removed from your attention altogether. If you are focusing on the lack of something happening, you are focusing on the color that is making you uncomfortable. Focusing on your joy and what brings you happiness and joy is focusing on the color that allows you to feel your power. And with that, they're done. I think that was the answer to your question.
I do too. And I think it also is a throw to stuff that I follow a lot, like Abraham Hicks follow,
Yes.
like, which is law of attraction, but it's more than that, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, checking how you're feeling when you're thinking about something, when you're wishing for something, wondering why it hasn't happened, all that kind of stuff. Checking how you're feeling, because you can't stay in that feeling. I actually yesterday recorded a video about that. So yeah, because I was doing that. So I went out on my lunch break. For real, that's quite the coincidence. I went out on my lunch break to get rid of the feelings I was having about what was going on at work, because I knew that I was right. Like, it was really going on.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Because I was just going to be making it worse. I was focusing on the problems instead of the solutions.
Exactly.
So interesting. But also, okay, so that was the end part for me. That's what the end part was. So focus on your joy, folks. And we get comments of like, I can't find my joy, you know, like, you just gotta. And joy can just be, joy doesn't have to be ecstasy.
Yeah, angels singing and yeah.
Right? You know, it could just be not feeling crappy.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and reaching for that
crappy.
next rung, right? Which you've talked about before with Abraham.
I've got on my wall right here. That's what I'm looking over at.
Yeah, reaching for the relief of the rung that's just a little bit higher on the ladder than you are right now. Because yeah, you can't go from despair to angel singing and joy, you know, like, but we can definitely reach up to the next level. Yeah.
I pulled it off the wall because I'm talking about like credit where credit's due. This is the Abraham Hicks, is the ladder that we're talking about.
Yes.
And it's high vibration emotions versus low vibration emotions. And like, it starts at the bottom one is fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. And then just one up from that is like insecurity, guilt, and unworthiness. So like, if you can move to guilt, or unworthiness, you've moved up. And then like jealousy, hatred, and rage, revenge, anger, like, but they're just a little bit lighter. So that's what I mean. And then like, it goes better than that, you know, like then it goes through discouragement into just blame and worry and doubt, disappointment, overwhelmed, you know, and it moves up satisfaction. Like, you could just get to satisfied even, or maybe you could even just get to hopeful or bored. Bored is better than angry.
Yes.
You know, so that's what we're talking about. When we're talking about finding your joy, it's as much joy as you can find today.
Yeah.
Because because moving up the ladder begets moving up the ladder. So it's easier to get to the next rung. Okay, so that's the end part. But all this beginning part about the rainbow and everybody's messages, like, we knew that. It says, today they said it comes through their own love energy imprint, where I've used the word filter before too. It comes through your own whole experiences and references and that. I
And
thought they were talking about all the different channelers that give different messages about what's coming and stuff.
I thought I took that too. I thought that that's what they meant.
So
But
how does
this
the
was
person?
an interesting way of looking at it. I never like, because I was a science teacher, so the whole prism thing and separating of white light, like, I
It's
love
your
that.
jam.
Exactly. So yeah, I just think that that's so cool that the information's coming in, and as it goes through, we're the prism, right? It gets separated out into all, but they're all truths. They're all part of the white light. They all exist there. But then they're focusing on one part of that, the color that is being separated out by going through their own love energy bodies. And that's what they're saying is the truth. But then they
Yeah.
said that there are some people who are able to sort of share more of the white light side of
Yeah.
things
And that
rather
they're
than it being
rare.
separated out. Yeah.
So is this what I just got? The beings that are sending messages to all these channelers, they're all sending the same message.
Yes.
But the channelers, possibly depending where they are on the ladder at the time, or what kind of karma they have, what kind of trauma and experiences, what kind of hope they have, it's just coming out in a different way. So for some, it's coming out like for you, it's basically like I'm really minimizing it, but it's a flash of light and the birth of a child that opens with that birth itself, not a savior, opens a portal to higher love energy. How am I doing?
Yeah.
Like a year worth of videos here. That then prompts us into the mass awakening.
Yeah.
But for somebody else, it's a flash of light that leads to 3 days of darkness and fear, because maybe whenever they've gone through changes, it has led to, you know what I'm saying? It has led
Exactly.
them into some fear experience. I'm just making something up to make a filter.
And it could very well be that that will be some people's experiences of it. So that's part of the truth.
Yes.
You know what I
But
mean?
I
But
might
it's
not
not the focus of the truth.
know, and it might not be for everyone. Like there may be three
Exactly.
days
Yes.
of darkness, but I personally don't take that literally.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking anybody talking about the 3 days of darkness, right? Like I'm saying that this all goes in together, because I think of it as, and I just put this together, that this is where my brain just keeps going when I read about the 3 days of darkness. I haven't even, anyway, really read that much about it. I think of it as 3 days of just not really quite knowing what's going on and where this is going. 3 days of me going like, wow, how come I'm aware of so much more right now? Until I figure out how to navigate it all. Where for some who have more fear-based for different reasons, might actually go through 3 days of darkness. I don't know. I know what I mean here. Like that, just that
Yeah.
it's all, they're all telling you all the same thing, but it's coming out through your filters. There's not only the 3 days of darkness, like I should touch on somebody else because I feel like it's going to sound like I'm only hitting those ones, but there's all different examples of how it's going to look. But it's all pieces of the truth. There's 3 days of
Yes.
something, you know? Interesting. Okay. And then when listening to all those different ones, we decide based on what it's feeling like inside of us, which is why I go like, no, I don't think I'm actually, maybe I am. Like maybe that is what's going to happen, but I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
But I check my guidance system. Do I think I'm going to be plunged into 3 days of actual darkness? That doesn't feel right. So I move away from that and make my own conclusion of what I think it is, or look at a different interpretation. Right. So I think that's what the whole thing was saying. Then use your guidance system to see which one you're going to focus on.
Yeah. And I love the whole their sort of confirmation and just the way love energy works and the angels, and they're amazing that way. That there is no malice in any of this. Like,
No.
that there is no bad color in the rainbow, as the
Yes.
information is going through and getting filtered and getting separated out, it's all part of the truth. It's all somebody's truth, and it's all good, and it's a natural process. That this is naturally what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just.
Yes, and there's no malice, and there's nobody telling us stuff like, well, yeah, like out of malice. It's just what they're getting,
Yeah.
right? Because there's more than 3 days of dark. There's more than that. There's like way bigger kind of interpretations of what it's going to be
Yes.
like.
Very
Actually,
dramatic. Yes.
a channeler, I don't know if they're a channeler, but anyway, a spiritual teacher that I've been following for years and years and years and years and years, just put, and it's always been super positive messages, just sent out an email, and I was like, what? I just found it had changed the whole tone of how he usually, you know what I mean? Because it was all about the battle between light and dark that's coming.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, wow, like I've just never heard you talk that way.
Yeah.
And so he obviously has received some other interpretation of information, you know?
Yep.
But I know, like, I really don't feel that he's malicious, you know, and trying to scare me.
Oh, no, no.
Interesting.
And yeah, and all of, like I said, these are truths that will speak to different people, and that's all part of the process too. And even just us ourselves, we move through different frequencies and different truths and different paths. You know, I'm on this path, but then it leads me to a fork in the road, and I decide, okay, I don't want to go that way anymore. I'm going to go this way, and so you change what now resonates with you.
Yes,
We're
absolutely.
constantly doing that,
Because
constantly.
your filter, your love energy imprint's constantly changing.
Exactly,
Like,
as we learn and grow and change. Yeah.
well, I think that came from a message on this channel. I can't remember. Or if it was on your other channel. Like literally constantly changing. Like our love energy imprint is different after this 20 minutes
Yeah.
of however long we've been in this video than it was when we started this video. You know, it's just
Definitely.
constantly changing.
Yeah.
And then also, they say that, I guess your channels have said, maybe others have said, everybody's great awakening is unique and different.
Yes.
So when we're going like, oh, it's gonna be a flash of light, it's gonna be different for, it may be that it's gonna be different for everyone. And all those different filtered messages are applying to some people of what it's gonna be like.
Yes. Yes, that's what I mean. It's somebody's truth out there.
Yeah. But in the end, and I was only interpreting that as it's the truth of the person channeling it, but the people hearing it too. And that's why I should just go like, no, that's not for me. Because then when it's all over and we're done, the mass awakening, and then, you know, the decades until we get to everybody being awakened, we're going to go, oh, you know,
Yeah.
that's why there were some different interpretations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it always reminds me of that story with the elephant, right? And the different people, I think they're blind, and they're touching different parts of the elephant. You know, so one blind person is touching the ear, one blind person is touching the tail, somebody's touching the knees. And of course, they're all feeling very different things, but it's all part of the elephant. They're just focusing on one part of the elephant at a time instead of the elephant.
Huh. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that before?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's
So
cool,
it's the
though. I
same
love
idea,
that.
right? It's exactly the same thing as the lights being separated out into the rainbow.
Yeah, I
Instead of
love that.
focusing
It's
on the
very
stream
me.
of white light that has all of it, they're focusing on one color. Instead of focusing on the whole elephant as a whole, they're focusing on the knee. And so, like, you know, you can get into arguments because, like, well, no, it's all wrinkly and straight, and the person with the tail is like, what are you talking about? Like, it's bristly and wiry and weird. And then the person on the ear is going, what are you talking about? It's smooth and huge, and it's like a big flap. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I love it. It's very me, an analogy like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and so those truths are all part of the whole truth, and those separated out truths will speak to a whole bunch of people who that's part of their journey. And it's all good, and it's all the natural process of this information coming into Earth. And that's why you always focus on what feels right for you.
Yeah, this actually speaks to your intro that you always do.
Yes.
But then they did say that there are So each person is tuning into their own wavelength of info and sharing this info with others. There's an opportunity to receive this info more wholly than separate it out. These are the people who are able to receive this info in its whole form and share it. These people are more rare.
Yeah. And so it's up to each of us to decide who those people are for us. And yeah, what makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Shall we
Okay.
see who's next?
Yes.
But all that to say that focusing on when this is all going to happen and all of that is focusing on what we don't want to focus on. It's focusing on what's making us uncomfortable, right? So yeah, just
Yes, you're right. It's like counting you. Yeah, okay. Taking stock of what hasn't happened. So you
yeah.
think that was the answer that we're gonna
Oh,
get?
definitely. Definitely that's the answer.
They're like, just go for a walk in nature, Colleen, and forget about Pele's birth.
Exactly. It's like saying, I don't want,
I
the
try.
whole idea of when you focus on a certain color of car, then that's all you see, right? So if you're like, oh my goodness, like I just can't stand blue cars, why do I? But then that's all you're going to see is blue cars because you're focusing on the fact that you don't want to see a blue car. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, and
you're
then so
focusing on when is this
therefore,
going to happen? When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Is focusing on what's making us uncomfortable.
yes. And like it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. I haven't, therefore, like I haven't had my great awakening, may be moving you further away from your great awakening.
Yes.
No? Because they didn't say that. Like my understanding is that I could have my great awakening before Pele is conceived. I personally, like a person. Is that or did you get information otherwise? That nobody's having their great awakening until
Well, again, I would never say that because
yeah.
we all create our, we're all on different paths. So, but the information that I've received has sort of laid out this timeline, and they have not said somebody can have their great awakening before that. But that doesn't mean that they can't. It just means they haven't said it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, and even like it's you and me, and we're so in sync, and I didn't get it like that. I did get that like the birth leads to the mass awakening, like a whole bunch of people having their great awakening at once and ending up in that cool hall. But yeah,
But
I'm
I
not
do
gonna
think
let that, I'm not gonna let that create doubt for me. So I'm gonna go with what I just was saying.
exactly. Yeah.
So I think that I can have my great awakening. It could be tomorrow, it could be coming anytime. And so if I'm going like, where's Pele? What's going on? I'm never gonna have my great awakening. It could possibly slow down my like law of attraction, right? It could slow down my great awakening because I'm focusing on what I haven't had. So like,
Yeah.
so
Well, and
stop
even
telling me.
that I tend to see the other way. Instead of it slowing down, I see it as if I focus on my joy, it speeds it up. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yes, you're right. So if I
Instead
just
of
don't
it,
think about it and go for my walk,
yeah.
yes. Yes,
It's
and
the
that
same thing. I prefer to see it the other way than to see it as this is slowing me down. I see it as, well, if I do this, it'll speed it up. It
you're
helps me.
absolutely right. I just
It
did
brings
another
in my
video
power.
on that. I got all these videos in the can that I just haven't edited yet and put up. And there was one about doing that. I went out on another lunch break and just sat in nature. Nothing bad was going on, but I was, instead of just visualize how you can just be in peace and you're helping things along. Like, so yeah, without even thinking about what it is you're trying to create. Interesting. Okay. Fine then. Sorry, I tried to get a more concrete answer, folks.
That's all
But
we're
that
gonna
is
get.
the answer. Don't even get caught up in the fact that we didn't get an answer. Go do the thing that you do. I'm gonna go for a walk after this. Okay.
Right, let's see what else we have to say here. Okay, we have circles. My angels are here. Our next guest is a being of light that has never spoken on this channel before. And so the pendulum has gone still, so my angels have stepped aside. This is a being of light who is about to give you some information that you have not received on this channel before. This information is in regards to the timeline of events that is about to unfold. This timeline of events is a timeline that will unfold in a specific way. However, the timing of this unfolding is very fluid and is not something we are going to share. The events themselves and the order they will unfold in is something we are sharing. This whole process will be hang on a second. Will be instigated with a flash of light. This flash of light has been talked about by many people. And this part of the journey is quite well received by many different people picking up on this information. The flash of light has become a clear indication of this awakening process beginning. So this flash of light is something that will be seen around the world. And it will not exactly be a flash by human standards. This flash of light is a flash by angelic standards. This means that this flash of light will last longer than a flash in human experience. This is why this flash of light will be seen around the world. This flash will be seen for a few days, maybe even 3 days. This flash of light is something that will happen in your universe. And the light from this intense activity will be seen as a flash of light that is seen around the world for an extended period of time. There is something else about the flash of light that is being talked about. You mentioned the 3 days of darkness. This is indeed associated with the flash of light. This is akin to stepping inside on a sunny day and not being able to see. This flash of light will be so bright that this will give people a perception of not being able to see. This is a literal and metaphorical explanation of what is being felt by people when they are interpreting this information. This is literal and metaphorical because some people will experience this literally, and some people will experience this metaphorically. This will depend on where you are on your journey. This flash of light will be unmistakable, and it will be an indication that this process has begun. The next step in the unfolding of this journey to the mass awakening is that some people will have an opportunity to have their great awakening moment during this time. This will be before the mass awakening. There will be an opportunity for some people who are helping in some way to have their great awakening moment shortly after the flash of light. This will bring these people an opportunity to then help others in a way that will allow them to have their mass awakening moment in a beautiful way and with a seamless unfolding of this incredible mass awakening. The next thing that will unfold after the flash of light is that people who are ready will begin to remember their past lives in a very real and tangible way. This has already begun, and a lot of people are already tapping into their past life experiences. However, you will understand the difference when this begins to happen. I am talking about a difference in your memory that is like watching a movie versus taking part in a play. The difference will be tangible and incredibly powerful. So after the flash of light, people who are ready will begin to have a tangible and real remembering experience of their past lives. And they will be able to activate their past life gifts. And they will begin to help others with these gifts after a time period of holding these gifts sacred within their own energy for a while and getting reacquainted with these gifts. The next tangible experience people will have is that they are going to begin to receive information specific to each person that will help each person move forward on their spiritual journey in a magical way that will bring blessings to your life. So, once people begin remembering and activating their gifts, they will also begin receiving information about things that are specific to each person to help them move forward in a magical way along their own personal spiritual journey. And this may show up in many different ways. You may receive information about a new healing technique or a connection with crystal energy, or you may receive a new method of communicating with other light workers, or you may receive information about a new invention or creation or business idea that you may bring to the world. And this idea will also bring you a gift of abundance. There is a plethora of information waiting to be received by the light workers of the world during this incredible process of awakening. The unfolding of the months after the flash of light will be experienced differently by every single person on Earth. Many light workers will experience this time as a blessed time of abundance and joy. Other people who are still working through their karma will experience this time in their karma, and this will express itself in any number of infinite ways. The karmic experiences on earth will continue to ramp up for people who are still processing their karma and working through their own healing. This is something that will create a divide of experiences on earth. The people who are in the first wave and are aware of this process unfolding will have a much lighter and joyful experience of the months following the flash of light. The people who are deep in their karmic cycles will experience this time a lot differently. This will occur at the same time, on the same earth. People all the time have different experiences than one another. This is not any different than the history of Earth. However, there is a difference. The difference is that many people will be experiencing a similar type of karmic cycle. One of the biggest karmic cycles at play now is a karmic cycle around being controlled or being monitored and controlled by a power more powerful than you. This is a very common karmic cycle at this time. And this energy is being played out in various ways around the world. This will continue. And this is one of the colors that people are picking up on within the white light of the information being streamed to Earth. This is a truth within this experience. However, it is not a truth for everyone. The light workers at the front of this wave of awareness will have a very different experience of this time period in Earth's history. This will be a time of joy and abundance for those who are about to experience their great awakening moment. The past life gifts and the information coming forward that will lead to creations and inventions and business ideas will provide lightworkers with an opportunity to reach more people with their healing abilities and their knowledge keys and healing keys. And this will help to get the ball rolling, so to speak, on this awakening process. The culmination of the months leading up to the great awakening moment of this first wave of lightworkers will begin with the flash of light and end with the mass awakening of this first wave. This will change the balance of love and light on earth. The mass awakening will create a wave of light and love that will ripple out around the world and be the catalyst that brings many of the majority in the middle to the point where they are now ready to experience their journey of self-discovery. And this is when the real work begins. The light workers of the first wave will then kick in to help the majority in the middle to have their great awakening moment. And this will occur on an individual basis. The first wave is the only experience of a large number of souls having their great awakening moment at the same time. After this, the majority in the middle will awaken more on an individual timeline. And they will never be alone in their great awakening moment. There will always be another person with them to hold open the door. Everyone needs another soul to hold open the door. That is what the souls who are awakening before the Great Awakening mass wave are going to be doing for the others. They are holding open the door. Who is holding open the door for the first person to have their Great Awakening moment? Pele and her conception. This is the sequence of events that will unfold. The timing is fluid. And the best way to bring this forward into your experience is to follow your joy and bring as much love energy into your life as possible. They're done.
Oh my God. Okay, I have questions, but I have to tell you something that happened. And I hope it didn't happen for everybody. I hope it was just my connection here. The audio froze, and here's what happened. I heard, this is what the souls who are awakening before the Great Awakening mass wave are going to be doing. Pele and her conception. Yeah. So for some reason, I hope that didn't happen for everybody. Get it?
Okay, well,
I don't know what they said.
Okay, well, I'll tell you because I remember.
Thank you. Okay.
So they were talking about holding the door open, right? That everybody who's awakening. So
Yeah.
so
There'll
the
always be
balance,
another person to hold open the door. Everyone
Yes.
needs another soul to hold open the door. This is what the ones who are going to awaken before are going to be doing.
and then they said, and so the question is, who's holding the door open for the first person to have their great awakening moment? And they said Pele's conception. So it's her conception and that flash of light that's going to awaken that first person, whoever that first person is. And then they will then share that with two people who will share that with two people, you know? And so then the people who are going to be holding the doors for the mass awakening will all sort of be awakened, and how many of them I don't know, but there is a group of people that will have their great awakening moment before the mass awakening, and then they're going to be holding the doors open for the mass awakening.
Okay,
That
but
first one gets opened by Pele's conception.
so nobody's having their great awakening. I'm wrong. I was wrong what I said earlier then.
Hey,
Nobody's
this
having
is
their
just the
great
information
awakening.
I'm bringing through. I am not going to tell you that you are
That's
wrong
funny.
because
Sorry. So what they're saying contradicts with what I said then. Nobody's having their great awakening. Only sort of contradicts. Nobody's had their great awakening before the flash of light.
yeah,
But I may still have my great awakening before the mass awakening, but it will
Yes.
be after the flash of light. But I may be a door holder because it said that the ones that are having it earlier, see, like, because I missed it, one of the first things they were saying, I thought I was going, because they said that there will be people who have their great awakening beforehand because they're going to help those in the mass awakening.
yeah.
But then it was near the end that I got that it was like, oh, okay, but that's not happening till the flash of light. So
But
anyway,
it's interesting that the flash of light itself, the conception of Pele, is the sign of the first person having their great awakening moment.
yeah, because it is still not, so it's not like flash of light, birth of Pele, mass awakening. Like that's how it was interpreted earlier on in the EH series sometimes by some people and by me. That it happened, that the flash of light, Pele's conception was going to usher in, well, it is usher. I took it as instant.
No, because there's a 9-month gestation period in there. Because I think
Yeah.
at some point they did say it was like a regular time. Like
You're right. I'm sorry.
It wasn't an
Not
angelic
conception.
pregnancy.
Not the conception. I'm sorry, the birth. So okay, it is right. Sorry, these messages were months ago. There's been a ton of messages since then and a ton of conversations between Cindy and I. So if you're like, how come the person who's on the channel that's giving the message is contradicting what the message was? It's because like I don't remember. There's been so much information, and then I ruminate, think about it and get my own concept of how I think what was said too. I know some of the people who have been watching the videos multiple times. One for sure, hi Rodney, did say like that he can't believe that he gets something different every time he watches it,
Yeah.
So yeah, in my own defense. So right. So anyway, cool timeline that they just gave us. And all the way from like, and then sorry, what else did they said the flash.
And so I think that's new
The
information.
3 days of darkness bit at the beginning. That's cool too. And the flash of light.
But I think that's new
Go ahead.
information that the flash of light will also be an indication that that first person is awakening. I don't think we've had that information before.
No, that one of the door holders is awakening, right? The first door holder.
Yeah.
The Pele. So the flash of light means that Pele is at that moment, well, over those 3 days or so, it said,
Yeah.
that the flash of light is happening. Pele is going like to one
Exactly.
person, to one
Yes.
person
Yes.
who is going, what? Okay. And then going through the door, like that's what the flash of light is telling us.
Yeah.
And then they're able to open the door for others of maybe the forerunners, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then over the 9 months, whatever happens in there. And then at the 9 months at the birth is when the now we're on past videos is when the actual like
The mass awakening happens.
portal, not
Yes.
portal,
It stays open. Yeah.
flow
With
of
her birth,
energy. Yeah.
that portal of energy stays open, and there's going to be some sort of new star in our sky.
Yes.
Because they said that the star that was there when Jesus was there, when Jesus was born, that really happened, but that disappeared after a while.
This one's gonna stay. Yeah,
This one, this time it's going to stay, because that's the portal.
But going back to the very beginning of this message, because I was talking about the 3 days of darkness, and now that it's like the flash, like I love it's an angelic flash.
I know.
Because then I was like, hey, what does that mean? Does that mean bigger or smaller? Like, what does that mean, an angelic flash? But
Longer time.
Everything's always longer time.
Longer time.
Angelic when they say soon.
Yeah.
So because I have had the thought, what if the flash of light occurred while I was sleeping?
Yes.
And I missed it. So you won't, because it'll be over days. And then so it's like everything's just.
And what did they say? They said, and maybe even 3 days.
Yeah, I love that.
They didn't say it would be. They were like,
this part I got. So this flash is something that was seen around the world, and it will not exactly be a flash by human standards, by angelic standards. This means, oh, maybe I didn't get it, that this flash of light will last longer than a flash of human experience, like the flash on a camera, right? This is why it'll be seen around the world. This flash will be seen for a few days, maybe even 3 days. Something that will happen in your universe, and the light from this intense activity. Interesting though, about the darkness. So then we're gonna be like, what the?
yeah, see,
like happens when, well, I'm being old now, when the flash bulbs used to go off.
Yes.
And they were too, like, I'm from the days when you had to screw the little onto the camera, the little square one that would turn, and it had 4 flashes in it. And if my dad's like too close and he has the flash on, like now your phone just decides, right? I remember being like, what the heck? So anyway, the dark is akin to stepping inside on a sunny day and not being able to see this flash, which still could be given interpretation, but
everything.
Flash of light will be so bright that it will give people a perception of not being able to see. This is literal and metaphorical.
Yeah.
What is felt by people, literal and metaphorical, because some people will experience this literally. So some of them will be blinded briefly from that flash of light. And some will experience it metaphorically, which is why I'm going like, yeah, probably metaphorically for me, because of what I've been thinking the whole time. Interesting. Okay. So then it will let us know that the process has begun. And then they told us at the end that it will let us know that Pele has opened the door for the first forerunner.
Yes.
The next step in the unfolding of this journey to the mass awakening is that some people will have an opportunity to have their great awakening moment during this time. Oh, see, they were alluding to it. They didn't tell us about the door and Pele till the end. Before the mass awakening, an opportunity for some people, and you were looking down, but I was like, to have their great awakening shortly after the flash of light, to bring them an opportunity to then help others in a way that will allow them to have their mass awakening moment. Oh, I must have typed that wrong. Anyway, in a beautiful way, with a seamless unfolding of the incredible mass awakening. Okay, so because I've talked to you privately about that, about hoping that I could be one of the ones because even though it's going to be beautiful and all the things, and enlightening and all that, I still think there's going to be some what is going on? How do I navigate this?
Yes.
And so I was hoping that I could maybe I can be a forerunner who's there to go it's okay, over here, come over here. I'll let you know, and I don't know, show you how it works or whatever, show you how to drive this boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then I put some asterisks in at each time she said they, she, they, he.
I didn't get a sense.
Each time they said the next. So the people who are gonna waken early are gonna wait. The next thing that will unfold is the remembering of the past lives in a very real and tangible way. And we know that we do have viewers who have remembered their past lives.
Yeah.
But and well, ourselves included.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. I get like the way I got that is it's not the same. Like, yes, I got some past life information, and there was the one I talked about where I was like a psychic of some sort who could see what people needed and all that. And like I can see it as a story that I was told, but I can't see it like I can see myself being a restaurant manager because I actually used to be a restaurant manager.
Yes.
And I can, like in this life,
Yeah.
and I can really feel what that was like. That's the difference that I made there.
Yeah.
And then getting the gifts too, like I said, like, so like I was a seer and I remember that happened, but I still do not yet have the gift, the full on, like, I think I do somewhat, but
yeah, I think you do somewhat too.
But not like on demand. I don't know, not the way that I picture it of getting my gifts. So then they're saying that this after the flash, then like you will really, really remember your past lives and remember the gifts. Like I remember how to use the point of sale ordering system in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Next tangible experience people will have is that they're going to begin to receive. No.
Information.
Specific to, it must be. They're going to help receive blank specific to each person that will help each person move forward on their spiritual journey in a magical way.
Yeah. We'll each
So
receive information and ideas, business ideas.
Yeah.
Information for our own spiritual, like how to use crystals or whatever, like whatever it is, but it'll be specific to us and our journey.
And bring us abundance.
Yeah.
Probably because we're going to be using that to help others, like whether it's by giving them a reading or a crystal healing or whatever my business is, or developing a new technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
I think that was it. And then the mass awakening was the next thing.
The culmination of the months leading up to the Great Awakening moment in this first wave.
And they did talk about, the other side of things, that how those of us that are on our spiritual journey already now and are aware of something happening, whatever that something is for you along this, that, we've done a lot of the work, we've healed a lot of our karma and all of that. So we're ready for this to be happening. But there's that whole, like the majority of people on earth are not ready for this. Like they're not ready to have their awakening yet. And so this is what, the splitting of the two worlds, how we're going to be living in this blissful, abundant, incredible, magical life while the karma is being kicked up on earth and all that stuff is still happening. And they don't talk about this through me very often. Or to me, like even when I'm privately getting messages from myself. They have mentioned a couple of times that, yes, there's going to be incredible chaos, but it's not something that they've ever focused on. And so I find it interesting that they mentioned it today, that yes, that is an aspect of what's going on too, but that's not where our focus is, right? Because we're here to now help the people that are coming after us. And so we don't get distracted by that other stuff, because there's nothing we can do to help somebody who's not ready yet, right? Our tools and what we're here and what we've set out to do is to be helping the people that have done their work and they're ready and they're right there. And they're the ones that we're lending a hand to. And the best thing we can do for the rest of the world is by doing that and living our best lives and bringing in as much love energy as we can.
Yes, and sending it out to the world.
Yes.
But not trying to get involved and save somebody from their problems or whatever their karma is. We're always assuming that karma is tough stuff, but that's because the easy karma is you don't have to help people with that.
And some of us may have a certain path that does help out with
Yes.
who are
Like
deeper
you're an
in their
addiction
karma.
worker or something, you know,
Yeah,
or whatever. But it's
exactly.
because you're bringing light to it
Exactly.
because of the energy that you're bringing to it.
But
Yeah.
you'll know where your role is.
Yes. It's not that. But even if your role is in the helping professions or whatever, you know what I mean? Like helping people with things that are going on for them karmically or whatever. You're still providing tools for them. Like you're still, you know what I'm saying? They still have to do it, right? So like they
Yes.
always, you just did a video, 2 videos ago on Lady of the Forest before about that, about like you can't, you just have to, you can't
Save
do
someone
it
from
from
life.
their karma
Yeah.
or from their life. Yeah. And you need to just go and go for your walk in nature. And try and keep your own vibration up, because then what you're putting out and sending out to the world is higher vibration than getting all caught up in that. And then, so what you're saying is perhaps, you know, the battle divide and then the being controlled.
Yeah.
Okay. So perhaps that is more going to be experienced by the majority in the middle.
Yeah.
You know? So it may be that we're hearing about all this, but we may, right, move into bliss land and create your reality land before.
Yeah. But there are also a lot of light workers who are experiencing that kind of control karma as well.
Yes.
You
You're
know,
right.
but I think that we're, you know, if it's somebody who's consciously on their spiritual path, that will pass relatively quickly and not necessarily be caught up in the complete chaos of whatever's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Depending
thinking
on
about,
where they are on their journey.
I'm thinking about my privilege in this conversation about because of where I live and stuff. Like, I guess there are, I mean,
Yes.
I know, I don't mean I guess. There are definitely people living in places where they're being controlled and stuff.
Yeah.
But I suppose that just using all the theory that we're talking about, or, you know, concepts that we're talking about, there is a way to be in that and still be looking towards the light.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And when we send love, we can help them have an easier experience of it then.
Yes.
So yeah, there's always sending light and love is always helpful.
Yes.
All right. I think that we went through everything there, I think.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I know they gave a timeline and then I felt the need to go through the timeline again.
That it's all good. All right, let's see who's next and what else we have here. Okay, we have circles. My angels are here. Our last guest needs no introduction. So we know who this is. The pendulum has gone still, so my angels have stepped aside. This is Big Birtha. And I am ready for some fun. There is an aspect to all of this that has never been portrayed on this channel as of yet. I'm going to help you understand something that is going to be part of this awakening experience. And this is something that will be an incredible experience for every person on earth when they are at this point on their journey. You understand the unfolding of the awakening process up to the mass awakening. We have purposely not given a lot of information about after the mass awakening as of yet. There is a lot of uncertainty around the unfolding after the mass awakening, because there is an incredible amount of karma involved in people who are still working through their karma. And the others who have experienced their great awakening moment are living in Dharma and have no set experiences they must experience. This makes it challenging to explain how things will unfold after the Great Awakening. However, there is an experience that every person on earth who has had their Great Awakening will experience. This is what I'm going to explain today. After a person has their Great Awakening moment, they are able to experience something magical in life on earth. Each person who is awake and aware fully and is flowing love energy unrestricted through their physical bodies will be able to have a tangible experience of jumping into any past life they wish to experience again. So, you are not able to travel back in time, so to speak. However, you are able to jump back into a past life experience you had and experience it now with your consciousness and memory intact. You will be able to jump back to any moment in any of your past lives and experience this moment again with all your conscious memories intact. This will be an incredible experience for all people on earth. You will be able to go back to moments in your life, in your lives, and experience them again from the point of view that you have now. This will help you in a magical way. Every time you do this, you will bring these energies into oneness with you, and you will achieve a level of healing and understanding that has never been achieved before in Earth's energies. You are already one, and you have already healed your karma by this point of your journey. However, there is another layer of healing that can occur by revisiting these past life experiences with your conscious memories intact and experiencing these experiences from the point of view of an awakened soul who is conscious of their life on earth. This is something that will become a most treasured experience for you. Every person on earth will be able to do this once they have their great awakening moment. People will even gather together and return to momentous historical events together and re-experience these events with everyone involved being aware and awake. The events will unfold as they did. However, the energy of the events will be changed forever through this process of revisiting these events as a conscious, awake, and fully aware soul. And now we have circles. My angels are here. That is all we have for today. That is enough. There is a lot of information here, and there is a lot of energy that has been shared. Allow this to process within your body. This channel is almost done. There is a reason why this channel will be done before the conception of Pele. This channel will be closed to new content. However, it will remain here for others to visit and experience as the unfolding of this awakening process continues. There is a reason why this channel will be closed before the conception of Pele. This is information for our next session together. And with that, they're done.
Wow. Well, I'm glad they ended that though and said next session together, because like folks, they didn't, they said this channel is almost done.
Yes.
They didn't say it's done. And it might be an angelic almost. We should go back. Go ahead. Or we should go back into Big Bertha's message first.
Yeah, which right at this second, I can't even remember what she
I know. Just a second. Oh, going back into your past lives and experience.
yeah.
Okay. I know we both went into like, we both had an inkling, like, because they had said this before about this channel is going to be ending soon. And they actually said that to you personally, right, Cindy? But it's only soon. They're just gearing us up, because like, I'm a little sad, but I also know that whenever something ends like that, like I'm not losing Cindy.
Yeah.
But, you know, but there is a little bit of like, oh, but there's new stuff that I want to do.
But also interesting that they said that it's going to end before the conception of Pele. So when it does end, we're that much closer. Like if it hasn't ended yet, then the conception's not tomorrow, kind of according to this message. You know what I mean?
Say that again.
That getting messages for this channel will end before the conception of Pele.
But they said there's going to be another message. So that
Yeah.
means the conception of Pele isn't going to be tomorrow, unless that when we finish this, they tell us we're recording again tonight. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So the
I
good thing
think
is that when it does end, then, you know,
we know that we're getting closer. And I
yeah,
was thinking, like, just from a personal, I mean, we're getting these messages for you folks, but I'm getting them too, you know?
yeah,
And
me
I
too.
was like, well, maybe that's because I'm going to be too busy helping others, holding open the door for others because because I'm a forerunner. But anyway, so Big Bertha's message.
Very cool.
Um, Something interesting, like it's not time travel, but the whole time I'm listening, I'm going, well, how is that not time travel?
Well, because you're not free to go and experience something you didn't already experience.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean?
You can only go on your own timeline, on your
Yes.
own, not timeline, but catalog.
Yeah.
I've only
And
got the
your own,
catalog of my own past lives to choose from of where to
yeah.
go.
You can only go back to an experience you had in one of your past lives. So if you were never around for some historical event,
Henry
then
VIII.
you can't go and witness
Yes.
that, you know.
Yes.
But if you were witness to it, you can go back and witness it. But very interesting that big historical events, we're going to all choose to, okay, you know, everybody involved in whatever, um, we're going to all be able to go back in time to that moment with the new consciousness and our awareness now, and literally have some level of healing that we didn't attain before, and change the energies around that. Like that, obviously we can't really understand that, but it's
Yeah, like I don't
fascinating.
get it because you're not changing history. We're not
No,
changing, like, that's a whole
but we're coming in with a different
trouble no.
consciousness,
I
you
don't
know.
understand it really
We're
about
no, me
changing
neither,
here.
but we're bringing a consciousness of complete awareness to that experience by going back and re-experiencing it, but from with all of our conscious awareness. So although we can't change the events and they'll still unfold as they unfolded, we'll be able to change the energy somehow.
Okay. Have
And
to file that under.
exactly.
Sometimes you can't fully understand these messages.
Yes.
Um, okay, I have a couple questions to
Yeah.
see if you want to answer or if you want to see if any beings of light want to answer. I'm also anticipating because I know I do wonder this for myself, but I know that you guys, same thing, it's been in the comments. Um, how do I know when I've completed my karma? And how do I know when I've had my great awakening moment?
Well, I think you'll know when you've had your great awakening moment. I don't think there'll be any. That's kind of like, how do I know when I'm in labor? You'll know when you're in labor. You know? But when you've never experienced it, you're always like, how am I going to know? How am I going to know? Trust me, you'll know. So
Well,
the
we
great
have had
awakening
people.
moment, I don't think there's going to be any question about that when it's happening. And as for when we're done our karma, the sign that they've talked about was the whoosh moment, which some people have said that they've had.
Well, people asked if that thing I had when I posted my first video, and I told you that I talked about having
But they
this like
said,
it was coming down through me, and
yeah,
people said to me in the comments, like, do you think that was your whoosh moment? But I didn't have
then
a glimpse.
no, you'll get your glimpse and you'll get that sense of euphoria will not leave.
Ah,
Because when you're finished all your karma, you're in that piece of dharma, and not have like all of that angst and all of the anxiety and all of that human weight on our shoulders of life disappears, and you have this incredible sense of euphoria that will not leave. And so many of us have had sort of mini whoosh moments where something has cleared out of us and you experience that. And I've had that. I've had like little healings here and there where like, wow, and you have a few days of like just incredibleness, but it fades.
and I go back into life, and my hips hurt.
Exactly. So, but according to the messages that I've received, when you have your whoosh moment, when you are done with all of your karma, you get that whoosh, the sense of euphoria comes in and it does not leave. And you will get your glimpse of what the other side, like your glimpse of the other side, which is going to be different for everybody. So I think with both of those things, you're not like, when it happens, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is it. And yeah, there will be no doubt.
I know. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay.
And the Great Awakening moment, they described the one where they described the Hall of Great Awakenings, the Great Hall of Awakenings to us, and they talked about how when that mass awakening occurs and we all end up in this great hall together at the same moment, relatively speaking, because we'll all kind of be coming in on our own timelines, but same thing as the flash is an angelic flash. The Great Awakening mass wave is an angelic moment in time. So it's a longer, you know what I mean? Like we'll be coming in at different times, but having it at the same moment sort of thing. And that what they said was that we're going to be aware of the room at first. And so we're going to become aware that we're in this room together. And then slowly as we acclimate to that, and we're like, oh, this is cool. Oh my God. And then we start realizing what's happening. Holy moly, this is my Great Awakening moment. Then you become aware of the building. And then you become aware a little bit, like the awareness of the other side doesn't come in a second. It comes in slowly. We're first aware of the room and other people with us. And then we're aware maybe of the angels or aware of our loved ones, or, because they said we're each going to choose to do different things first.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that awareness continues to grow as we acclimate to it, and till eventually we're aware of all that is.
Well, I think that's that whole idea that if it all rushed in all at once, like it would be too much.
Yeah.
For us to take.
Yeah. So I think and it will be very real. Like it's not going to be like astral travel. Like this is going to be a real physical experience, is my understanding.
Yeah.
It's not going to feel like a dream. It's not going to be like astral traveling. This will be a tangible experience.
Cool. And now was there something indicating like this is a lot.
Yes.
This is a lot of really cool information. Was there any update on soon in there? Not really.
No.
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 No. Only that when the flash of light is like, there's no that I slept through it. Like the things that I am like,
yeah,
like just a second ago, actually, it's very gray and cloudy today out my window. And the sun peeked through really strong for just a second. Like there must have been this little space between the clouds, and like complete space though. And it came in while we've been talking here. It suddenly came in really bright, and just for a second, I went, like, is that it starting? Because it was really bright coming in my room, and then it's like, no, I'm sitting here in the cloudiness again. But it's like same thing too. Is that it's going to be for days. Like there's going to be no
notice.
Yeah.
And I know some people have said, oh, I wonder if it's this comet or that comet, like things that we'll be able to see in the sky. But I don't get that sense. I get the sense that this is a really bright light that's like sort of all-encompassing bright light.
Well, now they're talking about it making you like
yeah,
that bright.
But again, that could be metaphorical.
You're right.
So, but I read an article just recently, because there's at least the one star anyway, like Betelgeuse, I think, is set to go supernova. And I get the terms wrong, so if I got the term wrong, don't worry about it. But it's set to sort of have its little explosion. But from what, like, that's not going to be a flash of light that encompasses Earth for 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, it will see the star a little bit brighter for a little while. That's pretty much it. But I read this article just recently, and I have no idea where this star is or any of the scientific knowledge around it, other than it's kind of going through the same thing. It's expected to go, but I'm pretty sure they weren't talking about Betelgeuse, because they didn't say Betelgeuse. It had like a R2D2 kind of name, it was all letters and numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of set to go, and because these things sort of are semi-predictable and kind of regular. But in the article, it said also that at some point it's going to have like this massive explosion, like, which has another name that I don't know. And so it's probably going to be this little one, but it could be the big one. And the way they described it, it was like that could be a flash of light that we see for days. You know what I mean? Like, that's not just it going a little bit brighter and that's it. Okay, that was it. It went supernova. You know what I mean? This would be an all-encompassing sort of, if it did the big one, whatever that was. Anyway, it was a very encouraging article, and I thought that was cool. But who knows what it's going to be?
Well, yeah, and like there's a question in there too. Is the flash of light going to be caused by something that is also?
Well, they said it's something in your universe. They said it will be caused by something in your universe.
They just said it was in your universe, like not that it's caused by some. What I'm saying is, does it have to be caused by an explosion of a certain thing like that? You know what I mean? Or is it just so much light coming in from all that is that it? I know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean too. Not something we can necessarily point to.
Yeah, and say that it's
from scientific knowledge that we have now. Like,
yeah,
something magical because we don't understand the science behind it now.
Yes. Or is it just that this portal opens and so much light comes in from like love energy, right?
Yeah.
Comes in from all that is like that it gets really bright. So then so what sometimes I feel like my questions are dumb. Like did we just talk about this? Those who are not just about to have the door open for them and have their great awakening moment, what are they going to think? They're going to see this too then? It's worldwide. Yes. Everybody's going to be like either, okay, metaphorically or literally, or some other way of flash of light. Well, you know, what are they going to think? I guess
all kinds of different things depending on their own karma and depending.
And it may be karma healing, like that may be like they might go into fear.
Fear for sure. There's going to be a tremendous amount of fear around this. The world is ending. That's it. It's over. Game over, people. Like, and so that's going to cause all kinds of domino effects from that. Like, so that's the thing, is everybody's going to have their own experience of this, but depending on where you are on your journey and what karma you have left, which for some people is a lot of karma left, you know?
Yes. And just like, because we've, okay, it already is just the talk of the 3 days of light and the 3 days, or no, flashlight and the 3 days of darkness that's been all over the YouTube and that. There are videos about preparing for it, like as in, you know, like survival, sorry, I don't do it. So it's hard for me to, I don't even know what to call it, you know, stocking up on cases of water. Like I'm not that. So just preparing, emergency preparedness, you know, and canned food and like whatever else. There's been videos about it and people asking that in our comments and, you know,
so go with your own
where exactly this is what I was getting at, where some of them might be, it might be their right path to be doing their kit. It's my right path that I'm like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because we're all going to have a completely unique experience of this. So
and then, but in there is some karma.
Oh, definitely.
Even if it's that I'm wrong and I should have got some water. There'll be karma in there, clearing in there for me too.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Okay, now that we've covered Big Birtha's message, we can go back to the last bit that they're telling us. So I'm even happy to know that there's going to be at least one more. There was a reason why this channel will be closed before the conception of Pele. That is information for our next session. So they didn't even say that there's only one more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is at least a next one. But eventually the channel will be closing to new content. Well, that's interesting too, because okay, so I'm going to tell them. We talked about whether I was going to say anything about, sorry. closed to new content. So that's not just you and me, that's also my content.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that before,
No,
right?
that's
So
the first time
we
they'd said that.
had received some alluding before that there was going to be an end of Cindy and I doing these things together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I was wondering about continuing to post my own content on this channel. So they just answered that, Cindy, and I just picked that out right now.
Yeah,
This
me
channel
too.
will be posting new content, so I'm toast. Except that, but it answers my question, and it says that what I did yesterday is I'm on the right path here.
Yes, you
So
are.
I started my own channel
Yay!
because they're all going like, what? And just have a little side convo with Cindy here for a second. I started my own channel, but there's no content on it yet, but it exists. So, like I said, I have these videos in the can, and one of the big things that was stopping me was that I was undecided about whether I was going to start my own channel, and sort of start over, right, at getting subscribers and stuff, or, continue talking to you folks on this channel. I know that, but I keep getting the message that if I build it, they will come. Like if I start anyway, I just had all this, self-doubt and stuff that stopped me from starting it. So I have created the channel itself now, and that's probably going to get off my butt and edit these videos and put them up on it.
Yeah.
But you can subscribe now if you wanted to. So Cindy and I have subscribed to it. So that it'll come up on your feed when I do post any videos. Yeah. And it's called, so those of you who've been watching my other videos, it's called Colleen Walks the Talk. So, there's a little play on words there. The name was given to me for real by Big Birtha a couple of months ago. I texted Cindy right away on a walk. That's what she told me that we were calling my new channel, Colleen Walks the Talk. So you could search it. It's at, all the letters crunched together, Colleen, Colleen, walks the talk. So yeah, because I didn't know if I was going to say anything, before there's even content on my channel. But now that they just said that tells me it's very real that I need to be posting on my own.
Yep. And we'll put the link below this too.
Okay.
So you can find it.
I don't know if you can when there's no content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Channel.
Well, anyway, I'll try and have some.
It exists. It's there.
There you go. So, yeah, but anyway, there is a reason they said why the channel will be shut down, and they're going to tell us in our next message.
I look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are we ready to send out some love?
Yes. I'm going to grab the, I liked holding this last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, connected. So I don't know what this symbolizes this time, but the connection between all of us, or maybe it's holding the door. Oh, look how I'm holding it. It's holding the door.
Okay.
So thanks very much for joining us.
Yes.
And we will see you soon, whenever we get around to recording again, when we find another window to get together.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the comments.
Okay.
And maybe
Thank
on my
you so
other
much
channel.
for being here and for listening. Have a great day.